our aldermen are present. Ms. Bates is present by phone, and Mr. Hall is also attending tonight by phone. At this time, I'd like to recognize Pastor Brooks, who will lead us in prayer, and Mr. Powell, who will lead us in the pledge of allegiance. Please stand.
We all bow. Gracious Heavenly Father, truly we are grateful and thankful unto Thee for this blessed day. We thank You for this opportunity to come together as a community, working together to solve problems and create things that are good for this community. Father, we just ask blessing upon all that are here on the sound of our voice. Bless our families and our friends and our community. And Father, we just pray for love throughout this land and country in which we live. And we ask all of this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Attention, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you both. So I'd like to start tonight with item number 2C. It's a little bittersweet night for us because we're losing two of our aldermen. Mr. Slay's last meeting, Ms. Williams' last meeting. And so I will ask the board to pass on some resolutions that I feel very confident will be passed unanimously, recognizing them. And what I did was we had Ms. Kellum and I and Ms. Brooks help with framing these resolutions that we will present both to Ms. Williams and Mr. Slay. And I'm not going to read all of these resolutions, all of the word and verbiage of these resolutions. But for anybody who's paid any attention at all to what has gone on in this city, you, I hope, understand these folks volunteered years and years ago to serve the community, and they agreed to do so without pay, without any benefit, to great distress, I suppose, in many circumstances that they were being asked to do this, and both of them stepped up. I will tell you that the city of Gluckstadt probably would not exist but for the very hard work that Ms. Williams put in gathering signatures that even got us into court to where we might have the opportunity to become a city. Since that time, she's served with great interest in the city, and I know she's always done what she thought was the right thing for the city of Gluckstadt. Mr. Slay has also been steadfast, and I greatly appreciate his deliberative nature, his critical thinking, the manner in which both of them have held themselves and done the city's business. I will tell you that, in my opinion, the city will always owe a debt of gratitude to both of you. So on behalf of the city, we have these two resolutions that I'll call for a vote on. I also wanted to present you both. You remember when you all started on this journey, we got these things for you. And they are your nameplates that you had in front of you for 4 years. We had a plaque added to the back of them, and says, in recognition of your public service as alderman or alderwoman for the city of Gluckstadt, June 2021 through June 2025. And I also wanted to present that to you. So with that said, and after we pass the resolution, I'm going to invite you guys to make whatever comments you want to. I want to ask, is there a motion to approve both of these resolutions honoring Alderwoman Ms. Williams and Alderman Mr. Slay?
Make the motion, sir.
All right, Mr. Powell made a motion. Is there a second? Second. Mr. Taylor seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, those resolutions passed, and congratulations. Thank you very much for what you've done for the city. Thank you. whenever you want to make comments, now's a good time.
Let's go over that bag's empty.
It's in the bag. No more goodies.
Y'all have some pictures? She's on there.
Y'all want to get your resolutions up and take pictures?
Show the camera.
Right here.
You know that name.
Why don't we get the whole board to stand? And we'll,
Stand by
yes.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you. Travel safe. Great.
Ms. Nancy, you had something you wanted to add?
Yes, sir. So I have a note on behalf of the staff and some presents for y'all as well. I'm reading on behalf of all the staff who can't, all of them can't be here tonight, but they wanted to extend their deepest gratitude. So a note of gratitude to our esteemed aldermen. On behalf of the entire city staff, we want to extend our deepest appreciation for your 4 years of dedicated service since the very beginning of our city's incorporation. From those first uncertain steps to the steady progress we now celebrate, your commitment, leadership, and care have been a guiding light. Your contributions have helped lay the foundation for a stronger, more vibrant community, one where citizens feel heard, where progress is purposeful, and where the future feels very bright. Whether it was making the tough decisions, lending a listening ear, or simply showing up with integrity and heart, you have made a lasting difference. We will miss your steady presence, your thoughtful perspective, and the way you always kept the best interests of our city at heart. Though your time on the board is coming to a close, your impact will continue to be felt for years to come. Thank you for serving with distinction. We wish you every happiness and success in the next chapter. With heartfelt appreciation, your staff, the City of Gluckstadt.
Thank you.
Can't wait to quit.
This is the frame, first board.
And I put a copy of our note in the back of your frame. Yes.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Mr. Slade? Ms. Slade?
Well, I might ask a question or two. You got time for that?
You can ask, I don't have to answer.
Well,
No, go ahead.
there's so much I could say, but I'm not. I was thinking back on the historical journey, and for those that are here today that were part of the original days, and there are some individuals here, and thanks to them again for those efforts in the volunteer days. I think we all went through some titty shoes and maybe I went through some sunglasses and what have you, speaking to citizens and beginning the journey. For the record, it was 3,460 something days ago. So a lot has happened, and here we are. So I wish the future board the best. It's being on a board. It's good, bad, it's happy, sad, it's ugly, it's beautiful, but it's part of being on the future involvement of the city. So best of luck to all of you in the future. And as Pastor Brooke has said, just God watch over this community. And y'all just keep praying for this community. So thank you all for your gratitude, your thank yous and all of that.
Well said. Pleasure.
I don't shed tears very often, but I made mine. I have so many people I want to thank, and I know I'll forget some of them. I want to start first of all with my wife. I want to thank her for all the hours and nights I was not at home, and this time with her and our kids and grandkids and so forth. The next person I want to thank is the gentleman that called me and asked me to accept the position as alderman, Mr. Kerry Minigan. Thank you, Kerry. I want to thank Pastor Brooks. He's probably the best prayer I know, and I'm certainly miss your prayers. I want to thank our city staff. I want to thank this board. I want to thank our members on P&Z committee. I've had, quite a bit of interaction with our city staff, department heads, several members of our planning and zoning. They've always been very respectful, very supportive, very professional, and I appreciate that. I want to thank this board. We have a very, very good board. And, you know, while we have disagreed over issues, it's always been done in a very respectful, very professional, and a very highly ethical manner. And I want to thank the board for that. Person that certainly not, he's last but not least, I want to thank the most is our mayor. You know, the amount of work, the hours, the stress, the level of responsibility that it takes to create a city like this is a major task. I don't know if anybody knows the hours that our mayor has put in all pro bono. He's done it very selflessly. Is very professionally, very high ethics, and you know, all for zero pay. And I don't think any of us can thank the mayor enough for what he's done. I know what he's meant to me and this board. It's been an honor and a privilege, and thank you all.
So it's the epitome of public service. These folks didn't get anything for doing this, nothing. They probably lost a great deal more than they had ever hoped to gain by serving on this board. But when they were called by their community to do it, as is with the other board members here, they stepped up and they did it. And they're to be commended for that. You will be very difficult to replace. I can assure you of that.
You'll be all right.
So thank you. All right, let's now move on to items 2A and 2B. Chief Hale.
There it is. That's you.
Items 2A and 2B. Chief Hale.
We'll do, D first. Everybody, this is, D McLean, he's our newest part-time officer. He comes from a lot of experience, JPD, like Jackson State.
All right.
I'm not saying he's old, but.
Raise your right hand. And just repeat after me. I, D. McClendon,
I, D. McClendon,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully support
that I will faithfully support
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Mississippi,
the Constitution of the State of Mississippi,
Gluckstadt City ordinances,
Gluckstadt City ordinance,
and obey the laws thereof.
and obey the laws thereof,
That I am not disqualified
that I'm not disqualified
from holding the position of police officer
from holding the position of police officer
for the city of Gluckstadt.
for the city of Gluckstadt,
That I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
of the office which I am upon about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, congratulations.
Mr. Mason, come on up. As everyone, some of y'all know, but some of y'all don't, we finally, have a dispatch that's up and running fully. And Ms. Mason is one of our dispatchers. And she's doing a good job, so thank you.
All right, if you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Tamisha Cooper,
I, Tamisha Cooper,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully support the Constitution
that I will faithfully support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Mississippi,
and of the state of Mississippi,
and obey the laws thereof.
and obey the laws thereof,
That I am not disqualified
that I am not disqualified
from holding the position
from holding the position
of public safety dispatcher
of public safety dispatcher
for the city of Gluckstadt.
for the city of Gluckstadt,
And I will faithfully discharge the duties
that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
of the office that I am of the office that I'm about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations and welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Powell, item 2E.
Yes, sir, thank you. So on, June the 21st is, Go Skateboarding Day. It's the International Association of Skateboarding established this day to get, people in the community to get out and, get on skateboards. I was 15 years old, discovered the skateboard, and at 53 years old, I still like to get out and cruise around on one. So, I'm gonna ask the city to, recognize, June 21st as Go Skateboarding Day. I'll be putting some activities together like I did last year and, promoting it and try to get some, individuals here in the city and people outside the city to come and join us. So I'd like to make a motion to adopt the resolution.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Slade seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that matter passes. Item 2E, Gluckstadt Rotary Club. Is someone here to speak on behalf of Gluckstadt Rotary Club? Hey, how are you, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Tell us your name.
Rachel Howshorn.
Okay, Miss Rachel.
I'm a part of the Gluckstadt Rotary, and this 4th of July, we are hosting a Gluckstadt 4th Fest. It is gonna be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the lot right next to the police station. It is a family centered event. We're gonna have live music, inflatables, face painting, food trucks, fire trucks come in, police cars come in. It's just be a nice thing to kind of introduce to the city for the 4th of July. And we would love y'all to kind of help us support it. And I have a bunch of flyers if anybody wants to take any. But basically, that's just what we're doing.
Great idea. I hope it's a great success and try to make it out there for sure.
All right.
You know, next year, we're talking about trying to do a 4th of July parade for the city of Gluckstadt.
I think that would be awesome.
And so if you have any interest in helping with that, you
I'm
can,
sure we could.
you can have the opportunity to serve your community as well.
Already signed up.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item 4, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move.
Mr. Slade made the motion, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Powell seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 5 is an FYI matter, budget reports and the bank reconciliations. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, all of the materials there are for your information. If not, Ms. Ruth, item number 6.
Good evening. First off, we have the status of certain grants. Let's talk about the cybersecurity grant. That's your first highlighted line. When I submitted this agenda item, I did not have a budget yet, so the ceiling on this grant was $75,000. Our application was actually $58,410. And this is for citywide cyber training for all employees. This is not just PD and dispatch and court services. This is for everyone. And we used the through the 20, the city clerk had recommended, suggested some cyber training, so we just used what the city clerk's office suggested. Firewalls for 3 buildings, and that's going to be City Hall, Public Works, Building Zoning, and of course the PD. And there's also a redundant firewall for the PD. Uninterrupted power supply, we asked for 4. and 2 for court server, for the server at the PD, and 1 for emergency management. Any questions?
When would you expect it to be awarded?
August.
Federal grant?
This is through Mississippi Office of Homeland Security.
Okay.
It's
so
federal,
state-
technically it's federal money, it's just flow through money.
I got you.
Your other highlighted areas are where, modification was signed by the mayor. It's our second modification on that one grant, and, reimbursement and expended funds. Any questions?
Okay.
We'll go into upcoming grant projects. The first one we have is fiscal year 2025, Safe Streets and Roads for All. And this is a project at Dees Road in Gluckstadt to add a right turn lane to decrease congestion, traffic congestion. And I do not have a budget for you to do that. We did the training online. Chris did it. I think Amber did it. I did it. And the application is due on June 26th. So we'll have an update for you next board meeting.
Right turn lane south on Gluckstadt Road.
If you head north off of D's, where the gas station is,
D's.
that's Gluckstadt Road.
So going north on these, a right turn lane to go east towards the interstate.
Okay,
Try to get some of the
Okay.
traffic to flow through that needs to just get to the interstate.
okay, great.
That's a good
Thank
idea.
you for doing that.
The Mississippi Outdoor Stewardship Trust Fund, we have applied for that before and was turned down. And that was August of 2023. The training is June 18th. I don't know if this is another situation, of course, the Outdoor Trust Fund. Do you all remember what this is for the most part? We did submit for a walking trail. I know in this trust fund money, you do have to be shovel ready. So depending on the dates when the application process opens and when the award process comes through, we're gonna have to see whether or not we will be shovel ready for anything.
You say shovel ready, I assume money's in the budget for a project like this. Is that what you're talking about?
There's not money in the budget.
That's what the grant money would be for.
Shovel ready means completely flat surface, ready to put a sidewalk in there. A lot of our stuff where we want a multi-use trail would require us doing storm drainage, retaining walls, all sorts of stuff. So we have those in the works, we just don't have it budgeted yet.
And I will have more information, of course, after the training. So again, this is another, topic that we'll have to discuss next board meeting.
All right, any questions? All right, item,
The next up is the Health Council and Coordinator Sheila Span is here to talk to you about that.
welcome, Ms. Fan.
Welcome, good to see you all this evening. We have 2 major projects coming up. The anti-tobacco for the children, we had to move it to October. During the time that we wanted to do it, they were in testing. And so I have to respect the school and the principal and teachers. And so they gave me some dates for October. The Mississippi Health Department will be assisting me on that endeavor. Now, coming up in July, I was able to secure a church to do our health fair, Gluckstadt's first health fair. And that's gonna be St. Joe Catholic Church. Father Simmons has gave me 2 dates that they're looking at, July 10th and July 17th. It's gonna be on Thursday. It will probably start at 8:30 and probably end at 2 p.m. And my goal is to get all of the health professionals here in Gluckstadt. And we have a whole lot. We have 2 or 3 pharmacies. We have 2 or 3, we got St. Dominic's, we got Baptist. We're gonna have us a good day that day, okay? So I'm so excited. So hopefully the next time we meet, we'll have flyers and that everybody can come, get tested and probably give our free school bag because at that time, school will be starting too. So I'm looking at the children too, okay? So, I'm looking forward to having a great time. Any questions?
That will be open to just citizens of Gluckstadt or anyone in the community.
You know, we're not gonna turn them down. We're not gonna turn them down, but, you know, we wanna serve our community, and this is our first one. And so it will be broadcasting on the radio everywhere. We're gonna get out there. I'm just excited, so.
Wonderful. And you look excited. Thank you for bringing that excitement.
Sure,
It's
thank
great.
you.
Thank you so much for your help. Ms. Kellum.
Just a few things. We finished up election season last Tuesday. And obviously we have a new board starting on July 1. Their swearing in date is July 1 at 5:30 at the new PD building. We are also planning an informal town hall. I've met with department heads and Alderman Bates. So we're planning on that in late July, mid to late July. So there will be some more information coming out about that. Budget season began in May, so we're hitting the ground running with that. We've began putting workshops together or tentative dates for budget workshops for the public hearing for the tax levy, as well as budget adoption in September. And then, of course, Chastity and I have been working on implementing some new trainings once a quarter for department heads and staff related to HR. So things like sensitivity training and cybersecurity training and all the fun. So there will be some emails going out in the coming weeks on that. Other than that, really just the board transition is my focus right now, and getting our new board members oriented to Gluckstadt. So that's it.
Any questions of Ms. Kellum? I don't know if any of you paid a lot of attention to this election that we just had, but Ms. Kellum ran an absolutely seamless, perfectly run election. And I know she would want me to credit her staff, not just her. But if you had the opportunity to see her on election night here running the show, I told her either that night or the next morning, I'm like, Lindsay, you know, you could run this entire city probably by yourself if you wanted to. And she's not necessarily the nicest person when she runs things. That morning I gigged her a little bit about a couple of things and she gave it to me. But all kidding aside, you're to be commended for running a very, very good election along with the staff people who helped you, and I'm very proud of you and them as well. So
I'm no elections law expert.
She's an elections law expert. I asked her when we got here, I said, Lindsay, you can take that down. You know, that kind of looks tacky. Those are the actual ballot totals from the machines. And she said, no. She said, they got to stay up 10 business days. And I'm like, okay.
That's the truth.
That's what they'll do.
Thank you.
That's the election law.
Yep, a fantastic job. Thank you for that. I know that the candidates were very appreciative as well as they should be. So, Mr. Mull, anything to add to 7B?
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Mull about 7B?
Are you still having trickle lands on the past D privilege license in Denver?
I mean, that's slowed down.
Is there any guess of outstanding number?
Around 50-ish.
Around 50?
So what do we need to do to step up our game in that?
Code enforcement
Code enforcement?
or lawsuits. Those are the only two
Yeah.
things. So
We need to
I
talk
don't want
about
to
the
file
best way to,
lawsuits.
best way to do that. So let's go to 7B.
Yeah, so we have two quotes before us for pest control. The city is currently with Terminex, but Alderman Powell had requested that I get a secondary quote from Dependable Pest in Gluckstadt, so that you have two comparable quotes. It's really the board's preference as to which one you want to use. They're pretty close in pricing. It's just that Dependable is local. And this is a professional service, so technically it doesn't need two quotes. We just offered you both, or offered two quotes for you guys.
All right, any questions or comments about which of these two pest control contracts the city should go with?
I agree with Mr. Powell. I prefer to always do business local with our people we can. I personally use Dependable several houses in different situations. I've been very pleased with them.
All right, then I'll ask, is there a motion to adopt the Dependable Pest Control contract?
Make that motion, sir.
Mr. Powell made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Slade seconded. Any further discussion on the topic? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ms. Maya, I have you as an aye vote. I'm sorry?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Mayor, as a point of clarification, we do have a current contract for City Hall with Terminex. Can we make a vote to cancel that contract?
Is there a motion to cancel that contract?
Yeah, motion.
Ms. Williams made a motion to cancel the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Powell seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, Mr. Hall, by phone, item number 8. Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
Morning. Quick update. In the month of May, we issued 20 permits totaling $32,010. We had a total of 40 inspections that were closed out. Currently had 286 active permits, not including the signs. And one other update that I did not have in there that I was asked about, rentals. We still have approximately the same number registered. We have reached out to all the HOAs. They are informing their people that they know a rental, that they need to register. We also reached out to Bear Creek, and initially they were receptive to assisting, and then the Bridget got a second phone call back saying that they could not assist us with the information that we requested. So we're going to approach them again about that subject and see what all we can do about getting rental information.
Okay, I know Mr. Slade had some concern or question about rental. Mr. Slade, did he answer your question?
He did.
Any other questions of Mr. Hall as to his general update? All right, Mr. Hall, you want to take now item 8B, the Gluckstadt Office Park Building C site plan?
All right, this is located, excuse me, up on Old Jackson, I believe. I'm trying to get my file there. There we go. Sorry, this internet's real slow here. Yes, this is a parcel that we just recently rezoned to C2. It's up on Old Jackson Road. It is formerly part of Sheriff Tucker's property. This will be a back parcel. They're looking to begin developing it. The initial phasing is just the small office building that they're beginning with. Buildings, the second and third building will come later after everything's already in place. The P&Z Commission did review everything, had a couple of questions about shared driveway access, which we will address with the neighbors there as they come in through construction development as well. And overall, P&Z did vote to recommend approval of this site plan.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hall. Are there any questions of Mr. Hall about the proposed site plan for the Gluckstadt Office Park? Okay, is there then a motion to approve the Gluckstadt Office Park Building C site plan?
Move.
Mr. Slade made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Williams seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Item 8C, consideration of Citizens National Bank site plan.
This is Citizens Bank. They came in to us a few months ago seeking to build, and their initial proposal had to make several changes with the ARB. and they came back with the building design that is now before you. They worked closely with ARB, made several changes to their site and everything to make it fit with the plan for the area. It's a nice looking building. It fits everything that we require as far as ordinances and design wise and whatnot with architectural standards. P&Z Commission did vote unanimously for recommendation of approval.
Yeah, beautiful building. I appreciate you guys working with the city and the architectural review board to come up with this project. Design is great. Is there a motion then to approve the Citizens National Bank site plan?
Make that motion, sir.
Mr. Powell made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Williams seconded. Any further discussion?
For clarification, where is this between south of Soul Shop Pizza versus north of Trustmark?
Directly in the middle.
What?
Directly in the middle.
Directly in the middle. So there will be some space between the southern part of that parking lot. I thought so. I know P&Z talked about it and they went over it really quickly. Yeah, it's a beautiful building.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you guys again. All right, item 8D, consideration of the GGL Business Park preliminary plat.
Okay, this parcel is where Zaxby's is looking to locate. It's right there on I-55 and Gluckstadt Road in that northeast corner. They are looking to divide the land, and by the subdivision regulations, they are required to file a plat to do so. Utilities and everything are already in place, so we don't really have any construction documents for this. That's why it's just a simple plat for both the preliminary and final. We're basically going through formalities of approval at this point, so they may subdivide that land into two separate lots. So that's why the preliminary and final both look the same, and they're just seeking approval of this designation of subdivision.
Okay, any questions of Mr. Hall? Is there a motion then to approve the preliminary plat for the GGL Business Park?
I move.
Mr. Slay made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Taylor seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion then to approve the business park final plat for GGL?
Make the motion, sir.
Mr. Powell made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Taylor seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Item 8F, Mr. Hall.
All right. You have to excuse me. This is for 1265 Gluckstadt Road. It's an existing building across from Wendy's, across Weisenberger there at the intersection of Gluckstadt Road. He is seeking to remodel the inside, and now the cat's out of the bag per se, to make this a MEA medical clinic. He is wanting to change up the site, put an additional curb cut off Weisenberger, and basically have it more accessible in case there is a medical reason for somebody to get in and out quickly. There is going to be some minor work done inside the building, of course, a little bit on the outside, just sort of update colors and everything, as you can see from the renderings provided. The P&Z concerns were utility relocation and the curb cut itself. That was addressed by Mr. Bridgeford, and he is aware that he may have to relocate utilities. He's prepared for that expense. And the curb cuts and everything that they are doing has been reviewed by engineering. If anything, it may increase the drainage capabilities in that area, so that's a good thing. P&Z did vote unanimously to recommend approval of this site plan.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Any questions of Mr. Hall about this?
William, I know the drainage was discussed at the zoning meeting. and Chris had made comments too. Did I hear correctly that it's possible, or there's already existing underground stormwater drainage there?
There is,
There is currently,
yes, there is.
so they would be improving that.
They would be improving that. There is currently no on-site detention. They will be adding on-site detention because of the size of the lot, which will in turn help us.
Okay, okay. I know that y'all spent a minute on drainage, so just needed clarity there. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion then to approve the 1265 Gluckstadt Road site plan?
Move.
Mr. Slade made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Williams seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. All right, item number 8G. Mr. Gideon, you gonna address this matter?
Yes, sir. So we have a request before you to rescind a previous rezoning, for a parcel of land. And Mayor, Mr. Clark is here, on behalf of Development, if the board would like to hear from him personally, we can address any questions that you may have.
Sure, Mr. Clark.
Good evening, Mayor, alderpersons. As Zach said, we were here, back in May at your last meeting requesting, that this particular parcel be rezoned from C2 to SU1 or special use 1, which as its name suggests is for a special use. The plans being, exactly what we represented to you all, to construct a self-contained, age-restricted community that would complement Mr. Phillips's immediately adjacent property being the Oaks Assisted Living Facility. As I represented to you then in my petition, and it still remains true, the purchase of that property by Mr. Phillips and his entities was contingent on two things. One being rezoning, which we achieved. Number two being the financing. Unfortunately, on the literal eve of closing, the financing fell through. So he is no longer able at this time to move forward with his plans for that special use that we represented to you all that we wish to have. So he is not going to purchase the property at this time. He is not going to move forward with the development of the property as intended. So our request is that you rescind that approval. Just seems patently unfair that the record title holder, being Third Floor Investments, be stuck, for lack of a better term, with a property that is zoned SU1 when the plans to develop that are no longer going forward. Obviously, that entity cannot properly market and sell their property with an SU1 designation for as high of a theoretical fee as they could for C2. So with the plans being scrapped, as it were, for the SU1, we would ask that that motion or that approval be rescinded.
So, Mr. Clark, you know, I'm sure you know that I talked to Mr. Phillips about this yesterday.
Yes.
I'm hopeful, I'm confident he expressed to you my concerns. You know, we're a little protective of our board over here, and I'm big on process, and the law demands process.
Yes.
And when you came the last time asking for the property to be rezoned, the city went on the record. The board found that there was both a change in character of the neighborhood and a public need for the rezoning. And that is the legal magic language that justified this board rezoning the property.
Yes.
So now, in essence, what you're asking us to do is to back up from those findings and sort of reverse ourselves.
Understood.
So cognizant of the dangers involved in just zoning haphazardly and without any real clear rules, how does this board do that? How do we do that legitimately back up from where we were when the board found there was a change in character of the neighborhood and a public need. And now you're asking them to basically unfind that. And I understand why.
Yes, sir.
I can't believe the person who owns the property allowed y'all to come in here and rezone it and didn't think about this potential problem occurring. But nonetheless, it's happened.
Yes, sir.
So how does this board do that? How do they back up from where they were?
Well, obviously, I would defer to your attorney on how to advise you of that. But for all of the reasons that I've just stated, you know, I would think that you specifically found that based on the proposed use that we submitted, that it would fit that special use designation. And again, as its name connotates, it's a special use. And as it states in the ordinance, it's SU1 because it doesn't fit neatly into any other zoning district in the ordinance. Well, that married right up with all of the representations that we made to this board as to what we were going to do if you rezone that property in our favor. Now, we're not saying that none of those things were true, and we would not ask this board to back up on the truth or the veracity of any of the representations that we made to you all. But I would think that this board could certainly take notice of the requested use no longer being in play, and we're not asking to rezone to anything different than it was prior to our request. In other words, we're not asking for it. All right, you approved SU1, and now we want to go R1 or R2 or any other zoning that would permit any of the uses that we proposed. You're simply going back to square one day prior to my submission of my petition, or to your approval rather, to C2, which is still in compliance with surrounding properties that are zoned. I think every property that touches this property is zoned C2, as are the surrounding properties. So at least in my opinion, you would not be backing off of any of the reasons that we asked you to rezone. You would just be taking notice of the particular and unique circumstances of this petitioner, and the fact that the closing on the property and moving forward was contingent on financing and rezoning. Well, we got one, but you really can't have one without the other.
But here's my question. I guess maybe I asked a bad question. Isn't it true that in order for the board to rezone any piece of property, they have to find that there was a change in the character of the neighborhood and a public need for the rezoning? If it's R1 to C, if it's C to R, regardless, the fact that it was C to SU, they still had to come to the same factual findings, and they did.
Yes, sir.
So now to rezone it and go back to where they were, do they not have to find again that there's been yet another change in the neighborhood and another public need to go back to where we were?
So like Mr. Clark said, this SU1 is a very specialized district. There's only certain things that are permitted outright, and only very, very few conditional uses that can be approved in that particular zone. One of the conditions that I think the board considered at the time was that this was going to be an elderly, self-contained community. And since that has now changed, one of the conditions precedent to you granting the rezoning has also changed. And so if you are to make that legislative determination, that would be one of the findings that you would need to make and spread upon your minutes, would be that the conditions precedent to the granting of the rezoning have changed since the time of the approval.
So the board then, you're telling us, doesn't really have to go back through the rezoning process again?
No, sir. So that they can just rescind that. So in order for the ordinance the rezoning to take effect, it has to be approved, and the ordinance has to be approved, and then it has to be published for 30 days. And then after that 30 days, then it would take effect. So since it has not published yet, technically it has not taken effect at this time. And so the board could, if it so chooses, rescind that rezoning based on the conditions of the rezoning being changed at this time.
I assume the owner wants it zoned back to C2.
Yes.
And I think the city would want it zoned back to C2. C2. I just want to make sure that we're being consistent in the manner in which we handle zoning.
I will say that this is a rare thing. John and I were talking about this. This is, I'm not going to say it's a first, but it is a very rare thing that something is, rushing to rezone is rescinded. But with this particular specialized use and the conditions precedent to the rezoning change, I do think that is a finding the board can make if it so chooses. But it would have to make that finding.
Now, the zoning that occurred, the rezoning that occurred last time hasn't gone into effect yet, has it?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'll say this, I voted to change the zoning, and I was okay doing that because it was special use. I don't know if the nature of that property has changed that much, but because of, the assisted living facility you have, and then you're going to add this, kind of combination of that. Yeah, I was okay with it. Yes. Personally, I'm okay changing it back to C2. We're back where we started.
Okay. Look, from the merits of it, I'm not concerned. I just want to make sure, because we got to do this for many, many years rezoning, and we don't want to get ourselves crossways with the law about how we rezone property. That's my biggest concern. Legal, you sound to me like you don't have a problem with it, and it's acceptable for us to do this in a manner in which is being requested.
Yes, sir. I think it would be different if the rezoning would have already taken effect. It would have been published and 30 days would have passed, and because then that property would effectively be rezoned. Then it would take a rezoning to go back. But since the rezoning has not taken effect, I do think that it is acceptable for the board to make that legislative determination to rescind that motion.
Any other questions of Mr. Clark or Mr. Giddy?
And I support the rescinding, just for the record here, so I will support that. My question is on the rescind action, does it have to be the original board person that made the first and second? I know at some meetings I've been in the past, it has to be the original motion maker, or can it be any board member?
I think that it could be any board member, but if we want to be safe and belt and suspenders approach, I think we could.
It's in front of you, the ordinance, the previous one, so you can see who voted.
I don't think.
You don't think it's
I think we'd be okay.
The question I got is, I know the owners, I'm sure, supporting this, but do we know for a fact, is there any kind of liability we're putting ourselves in by changing this back without the owner not being here or the owner not requesting?
And we changed it the first time when I thought.
Yeah, I know we did.
Well, in the original rezoning, Bellemere did have, I'm not sure if it was a letter or if it was just in the contract, but they did have the owner's authority to seek the rezoning. That was part of what they had to submit to us, that they did have the authority since they weren't the record title holder of that property. So Mr. Clark may be able to speak to that, whether or not the owners would object or not.
It was part of the real estate contract.
It was part of the real estate contract, and I can tell you that the owners have been notified of the financing issue, and they have, other terms of the contract have been satisfied, as far as that goes. So
What we have here is this SU, special use, going away.
correct.
So therefore rescinding is the action that the board can pursue, because we're in that window of time.
That's my understanding as well. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so before the board is a request to rescind the motion to approve the rezoning of Bellamar development. Is there a motion?
I move.
Mr. Slade, Mr. Slade made a motion to approve the request to rescind. Ms. Williams made a second. And the stated reasoning is that those contingencies necessary and based upon which the initial rezoning was had have not been met, they've gone away. The project is not going to be built, so those factual findings have been made by the board. All in favor?
All right.
Any opposed? Okay, great.
Thank you, sir.
Guys. All right, Mr. Buckner, item number 9.
Good evening. We are asking for board's approval to advertise for the County Station Parkway overlay. We need to advertise in the paper, Madison County Journal, and also the Clarion Ledger, because this is a state project, as well as central vending at MTAP. But we need the board's approval in order to do that.
Okay, there's a request by Mr. Buckner to advertise for the Calhoun Station Parkway overlay project. Making a motion to approve. Mr. Powell? Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Slay seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, item number 9B, Gluckstadt Road median removal contract.
There is a second part to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
First one, is to sign the construction and engineering inspection contract for Calhoun Station Parkway. This would be the, $59,009.70. This is for the agreement between Gluckstadt and Stantec for the oversight and inspection of the overlay project.
Did I read that right? That's the cap, the limit, I guess the max?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's great. It's just an 80-20 match as well.
It's 80-20 match as well. We're getting into this portion where the reimbursements start to come into effect.
Okay.
All right, is there then a motion to approve us entering into this contract with Stantec? All right, Mr. Taylor made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Slade seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, now item 9B.
9B is requesting the board to approve the contract with Henfield Construction for the Gluckstadt Road median removal project. We talked about this last board meeting. We just got the contract in hand. They won. They were the only bidder for this project, and they got the contract through. We're asking to allow the mayor to sign.
$188,926.
Yes, sir.
Any questions of Mr. Buckner about this contract?
I guess that's what we had in the budget, or that's, money's in the budget for that. We already addressed that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I move.
All right, Mr. Slade made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Powell seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Y'all will find it funny. This is Mr. Slade's last board meeting, and I heard him utter earlier today that he had finally learned how to work his iPad. Better late than never. He did it. All right, Chief Hale.
Skills.
Chief, item number 10.
That was
Yeah.
cool.
Good evening, everyone. General update, we wrote 278 tickets. Made 278 citations.
That's for the month of May?
No, from the last board meeting. till-
Oh, board meeting.
We made, eight misdemeanor arrests, 7 felony arrests, 2 DUIs. We've worked 31 accidents, since we started doing the warrant. We served over 289. Update on the building, we got the dedication plaque put up today. If y'all wanna come see it, sent Lindsay a picture of it. I don't know if she sent it out. Yep. We also had about 68 kids from daycare come over today.
You okay?
Yes, I'm great. Split them up. Thanks to Carrie.
Hydrated and all
Yes,
that?
it was fun. I put it on Facebook. And I'm proud of what we have, and now I've got another daycare more friends. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I should have done the Facebook.
You guys might want to hide your crayons.
We didn't have enough stickers for everybody. Yeah, it got pretty wild for a minute, but,
Did they dispatch or did they?
Huh?
Oh.
Oh,
Did
the
they
kids,
dispatch?
they got up there and tried, but we had to,
So,
yeah,
that would have been cool.
and that brings up that point.
all in a sale and close the door, but I couldn't get them all in.
I saw that.
Unfortunately,
Plastic memories.
Carrie had the rally group, ours were under control.
I think you set me up.
Yeah, we had a good time. The dispatch is up and running. Everything's going smooth with that, except the only thing we're having issues with, and we're working on that. Carrie's staying on them like a bulldog. The 911 system, we're still having to get that through, Madison County, so we're not able to, a bunch of variables in play in there. You got AT&T fighting it out with each other, so, but we're working on that. So hopefully we'll have an update on that soon, but we're not missing any calls, so our dispatchers are doing a great job. Carrie, Lieutenant Potman and Chris have been amazing. So they're the reason why our dispatch is where we are, especially that man sitting right back there.
Yeah, he's the reason a lot of us really are.
I told him the other day we couldn't have done half of that dispatch stuff. Well, I didn't eat without him, so because I'm lost to the world when it comes to that stuff. But
You need to train, is that what you're telling us in dispatch?
I need a what? Train? No, I don't.
Oh, come on.
I got people under me that I'll make.
All right, you ready to go?
Hang on, man. I just want to tell y'all about a couple of arrests. My guys are doing a good job out there. Of course, y'all know we got the guy that had the 12,000 pills. We actually got 19,000 fentanyl pills all over.
It was all fentanyl.
Yes. Well, we know the 7,000 was. We tested. I think we tested the 12, one of the 12,000, but it's at the state crime lab, so they're testing it though. So that's what they're doing now. They're taking those pills and they're mixing them with fentanyl. So the fentanyl's so cheap and easy to get into the state coming up through China, so and Mexico. So we got him with a 19,000 pills. We charged him with trafficking and careless driving and illegal intent. We arrested Mr. Seth Robert Batten the other day for kidnapping. Where something occurred on April 18th. We actually went down to Simpson County, got him, so that went well. We didn't have any issues. Mr. Rodriguez Pinson, we got felony eluding, receiving stolen property, resisting arrest, and a couple of tickets. He ran from us in a stolen duel and wrecked out in Canton. So Canton assisted us, and Sheriff's Department. We got Mr. Carter for felony shoplifting. He stole several items from our Ace Bolton crew. And then we got Mr. Washington for possession of a stolen firearm. Couple more things. We had an embezzlement at I think it's is it Kasai or Kasai? It was over $1 million. So we got.
Where are you on that matter?
We got a warrant issued for that person, and they're in Louisiana, so we're trying to figure out if we're going to have to probably get with Louisiana authorities and have them go get them. Then we'll have to go through the whole extradition thing. So, and then last. We had a truck stolen from Badger the other day. Thank God for City Hall cameras. We were able to, they broke in or stole the truck right over there. We were able to find out who the vehicle was, who took the vehicle. They took the vehicle into Jackson and tried to steal 2 ATMs. So, and left the truck at one of the banks. So, look, thanks to the little old Buckstaff PD, we were able to ID their suspects and pretty much solve their crime for them. So they're in Texas now, and we're going to work with the FBI and a couple other agencies to try to get them in custody and taken care of. So, and that's just some of the stuff my guys are doing. They're doing a heck of a job. So.
Tremendous work. Great job.
How's Bougie doing? I saw her the other day.
Boogie's doing great. So.
She was eating like pickles and bits or something.
Yeah, haven't eaten any plastic or anything like that.
Not lately.
Thank God. Any questions about that?
Good job.
Good job.
Congratulations on your dispatch opening.
Thanks. We're excited. That's what she made fun of me. Of course, the news came, and the only thing that came to my mind was I said, it's like going from boyhood to becoming a man. And they put that on the news. I was just, she aggravated me. I just been waiting on him to aggravate me. Apparently, he didn't know about it. So
I knew about it.
I mean, it made sense.
That's why I made the comment about you might want to hide your colors in the crayon.
I need to hire me a spokesperson.
Yeah, you're doing great.
Thank you.
All right, go to Timothy.
Oh, next one is I'm trying to get a truck for Sergeant McCarty. He's in a Tahoe. As you know, we have 2 Tahoes left.
Of the original.
Yes, ma'am, of the original, so they're on their last legs. So we're trying to get him a truck, a Ford F-150, for several reasons. We need, especially for surveillance. When we go out and make buys, I've been asked by Jace, about the four-wheel drive and all that. State contract, the only vehicles they have on there are Dodges, trucks. And we've had so many problems out of our Dodge Durangos that we don't even want a Dodge, so I don't know how Kristen doing with their Dodges, but only Fords they had on there were the 2 doors. There weren't the extended cab, and we need one that's extended cab, so when we go out and make buys and stuff like that, we can put 2 or 3 people in a vehicle, surveillance and all that. Four-wheel drive, is only a small increase for huge abilities. We have to pull trees or down trees or something like that out of the way. God forbid we have ice. Every now and then we have ice. We'll have a vehicle that can move around. And it's only a little bit of a difference between 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive, like 1,000 or 2, I think.
Have you checked that number? Because
Yeah.
I asked you that question.
We have.
What's that number?
It's roughly around 2,000, I believe.
Well, 4-wheel drive is fine if you can justify it, but it costs quite a bit more up front. It costs more to maintain and gas mileage and all that. Can you really justify a 4-wheel drive though? And the question I got is, okay, if he gets 4-wheel drive, then the next person, are you setting a precedent? So going forward, you got other people expecting 4-wheel drive vehicles.
Yeah, I understand your concern, yeah. And ultimately, it's up to y'all what y'all decide, so. 4-wheel drives really do come in handy if, like I said, we have some kind of disaster or something like that. Or we need to move something around, but.
Let's go to another part of this. What would be the decaling or what have you?
The what?
The decal or the imagery, it'll be
It will
black
be,
or
it will
dark
be,
colored?
it's gonna be gray, but it'll be unmarked.
It'll be unmarked.
Yes, it's gonna be used for surveillance and, keeping, surveillance equipment inside, locked up, stuff like that.
So the unit color would be gray?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm with Mr. Slay on, straight engine and not a 4x4. So I don't know how y'all wanna go with that.
I think we should get a price on a regular conventional pickup now. Yeah, again, if you can justify a 4-wheel drive, but I just got concerns if you can really justify it. Again, going forward, you set a precedent, the next guy's gonna want a 4-wheel drive. I've had to deal with that issue myself, so I know.
No, I understand.
So we're not in imminent need of this. His vehicle he's driving is still working for the moment.
Yes.
So it sounds like to me, the most appropriate thing to do would be go back and let's look at a similar truck without the 4-wheel drive. Get that quote and bring it back to the board in July. And understand this because I know you already know it.
Yeah.
And that is, we have always shown tremendous deference towards the police department. And for that matter, for any of you guys who come here, this board has been so supportive and deferential to you.
I agree.
Let's just make sure that when we bring stuff like this, that as Mr. Slade said, it can be justified. Because we trust you and we believe in you and we want to do what you want to do. Let's get those quotes for that regular 2-wheel drive truck and see where that gets us.
Yes, not a problem. Thank you.
Okay?
We'll knock that out.
All right.
That's it.
We do need to go very briefly into executive session. So at this time, I'll take a motion for us to enter into closed session. Make a motion. Mr. Powell made the motion. Mr. Slade seconded. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're in closed session.